Hi, my name's Kathy Skipper and I'm a menopause midwife. Welcome to my channel, The Alchemy of Menopause. In this video, I want to talk about why metaphor is the language of perimenopause, and I want to talk about 7 ways to use metaphor to support your menopausal journey. So first of all, why is metaphor the language of menopause? And I've seen this through the work that I do with women. So I'm working continuously in groups of women who are going through perimenopause. And the language that is sort of fed to us on the mainstream about menopause is often actually a very masculine based language, or a very sort of linear language. It's about symptoms and what we can do to help symptoms and medications and other things. It's a very sort of left brain linear language that concentrates very much on the physical symptoms of menopause. Well, what I've seen when I'm working with women is that's not at all where it's happening. That's not where it's at. It's a whole complete error to think that really what women need are symptom relief. You know, that's a tiny little bit of it. The deep main part of this 2 to 10 year journey is a deep inner journey where women learn to navigate the deep unconscious, which is a feminine principle. So in order to get to know oneself and go through this liminal stage and release what needs to be released and reclaim what needs to be reclaimed and finally birth oneself at the end, we need a new language, or we need to use a language that speaks to the feminine, that speaks to the unconscious. And that's not at all the same language as the linear language that we see talking about menopause all over the internet. It's a deep, metaphorical, imaginal language that connects with another reality. It's not because it's an imaginal realm that we spend a lot of time in menopause that it's imaginary or it's not real. It's definitely very real, but it's not the external world, it's an inner world. So the 7 ways that you can support your menopausal journey by starting to work with this other way of speaking to your soul is 1, through dream work. Dreams are the purest images, the purest gifts that we get from the unconscious, purely because we're offline. There's no ego to interfere, to filter, to judge, to say this isn't real. It's just images that come from deep within. They're your images, and they come from deep within the unconscious, and they carry information. So in this video, I can't talk about how to work with dreams, because that's for another video. But these images that we get, in a way, if we don't work with our dreams and we don't look at them and we don't try and sort of see what they're trying to tell us, it's like getting a beautiful handwritten letter and not opening it. So dream work is the language of symbols, the language of metaphor, and it speaks to this deeper part of ourselves. 2, connecting with nature and her cycles. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean going walking with the dog on a Sunday afternoon with your husband, 3 children, your aunt, and your best friend. Because that way you're just talking and you're in nature. You might be appreciating it in a sense, but you're not in nature on your own, with this communication and this metaphoric language that you can find when you really tune into nature, when you go and sit at the bottom of a beautiful tree and you feel the tree and you watch the tree and you see the afternoon go by and you journal in your journal. And the cycles of nature as well. The cycles of nature, they mirror the cycles that women go through continuously. And so really paying attention to the cycles, to the moon cycles, to the connection that you can have when you go alone into nature, into the wilderness. How does the wilderness speak to you? That's another way that you can deepen this relationship with yourself during perimenopause. 3, embodiment. Now, what we see on the internet is a lot of concentration or focus on the physical body during perimenopause, but it's always on what's wrong with the physical body, what needs to be numbed, taken away, medicated, changed, etc., etc. And actually, the language that we can develop between ourselves and our physical body is much, much deeper. And really, it's about, first of all, embodiment. Many women have been dissociated for a lot of their lives because of trauma, because of whatever it is, coming into the body, really listening to the body is something that many of us have to develop and learn. So embodiment is very important. And how do we do this? So by meditation, consciously dropping into the body, breathing, breath work, dance, massage, oiling our bodies, loving our bodies, thanking our bodies for what they've done for us and what they continue to do for us. And beyond all that, then the next stage is really somatic knowing, listening to the wisdom of our bodies. Our bodies never lie. And we can choose. We can say, okay, I'm having a hot flash. This is terrible. Let me find a medication that's going to stop it instantly. Or we can ask ourselves, hang on, what is this energy coming through me? What is it doing? What is this transformation that's happening? And I've done a video on hot flashes. Not sure if it's before or after this one, but it'll be coming up. So have a look at that. Journaling. So there's a certain type of journaling or automatic writing where we're not thinking about, oh, 5 o'clock this morning I got up and then I had breakfast and I had this for breakfast. No, we take a feeling, take something that's coming up, a feeling, a memory, a frustration, whatever's going on in your menopausal journey, feel into that and just allow the pen to write as if the unconscious or this deeper part of yourself is moving the pen. And at first, you might write rubbish. You just allow yourself to get going. And then you trust. And you write without filtering. You could put a timer on, 5 minutes. Don't filter, don't judge, don't reread whilst you're writing it. Just allow this deeper part of yourself to move the pen. And you'll be surprised afterwards when you do reread it, and if you continue to do this regularly, that you're going to get insights from this part of yourself that is beyond your conscious awareness, this deeper part of yourself. 6, art. Any form of artwork where, again, like the automatic writing, you're not thinking about it, you're not measuring your paper and perspective, you're feeling, you're allowing this deeper part of yourself to express itself. So I found that collage was great because you don't have to be a sort of prowess in art. I would make a big pile of magazines, feel into the feeling. I remember I had this burning feeling. I had cancer when I first had my menopausal journey, and there was this fire in my belly, and so I just feel into the feeling and rip out the pictures that I felt were calling me, and I'd make a pile of the pictures, get my paper and do the same, feel where they wanted to go. Don't think, feel. It's very hard to do both at the same time, to think and feel, and the menopausal journey is a real feeling journey. It's the language of the soul, it's the language of the unconscious. So collage, it can be other types of artwork, whatever suits you, but allowing these deep parts of yourself to express themselves through the medium of art. Same with poetry. I did a lot of poetry. It's in my workbook, which you can get free on the menopausealchemy.com website. On the homepage, scroll down. There's a 180-page workbook that I sort of created through my own journey. And there's some poems in there that were, really poems of liberating this feeling, liberating what I'd been carrying during this journey, things that were coming up. I would express them through poetry, could use writing. Shadow work. Shadow work is working with the unconscious. It's not what you think. It's not all bad. It's not about all these parts of myself I hate and nobody will love and I'm so bad. It's really about connecting with the unseen realms. That yes, there are things we've buried, but often with women, the things we've buried are connected to our power, our strength, our deep feminine self. So it's about exploring ourselves, our personal unconscious, but with the torch of Hecate, who was the goddess who could go into the underworld and lead us down there, but not to judge ourselves, to see and sort out, like you sort out your house. Really, menopause is like sorting out our psyche. What do I need to reclaim that I didn't realize that I needed? It's precious. Bring it back. What do I need to let go of because it's really not mine at all? It's taking up space and it's heavy, and somebody else asked me to carry it for them, etc., etc. So shadow work is to do with that. I do a lot of shadow work in the work that I do with women. Rituals and specific acts that speak symbolically to the unconscious. So this is a very important part because the unconscious, or this deep feminine part of our souls, speaks the language of symbol, as I said, but also of ritual, of ceremony, which is why the ancients and earth-based communities honor ceremony and rituals, part of their deep way of being in the world, because they know it speaks to the unconscious. We can understand everything with our left brain. We can be so good at telling everybody this happened in my life, and this happened, and I understand it all. Won't change anything. Won't change who we are and to help us to transform and become wise women, because it's the unconscious that we have to befriend and talk to and have a language for. That's where the real change happens. So rituals and sacred acts that speak symbolically to the unconscious are important, especially, often when it's to do with relationships, cutting ties, seeing what's yours and what is mine. All these things can be helped along the way by rituals that suit you. It can be just a tiny little ritual, but it will speak to the unconscious. Number 10 is identifying the relationship between yourself and the inner masculine. So part of the work that I've seen come up a lot with women during perimenopause is women that might have had many difficult or toxic relationships, a pattern of them in her life. I was one of these women. And so there comes a time, because this work is within, instead of saying, oh, this guy did this to me, let me blame him, it was all his fault, we look in and we see actually we have, as in depth psychology, we have a counter or a contrasexual partner. Even though I identify as a woman, I grew up as a woman, I am a woman biologically, in my shadow I have an inner masculine. And what plays out often in the outer world is mirrored in my inner relationship. So now's the time to say, instead of, oh, he did that to me, and it's terrible, I'm a victim. No, I'm not a victim. He is in me. Or I found him or these men because they were men that I could project this inner masculine that I have inherited and has been shaped and formed by my childhood, with my dad, with the way my mum taught me about men, my grandmother and her relationships with men, my great grandmother, etc. It's all shaped this inner masculine. So that, this type of work, you need a menopause midwife. You need someone who knows what they're doing, but it's important. Working with the inner tyrant and disactivating that unhealthy inner relationship is super important in menopause. And then 11. I think I said there maybe were 7 things at the beginning, but there's 11. So the last one is the language that comes in a woman's circle, which is very different to the language of the everyday out there, internet, communicating in the world. When women are in circle, consciously in circles, supporting each other through something, then there's a completely different language, and women hold space for each other and share that language. And that's, studies have shown that women have a much more effective and powerful menopause when they share it with other women. So lots of love. I hope that's very quick. Those points are helpful. As I said, check out the menopause workbook on my website. I'll put the link below. And please, if you like these videos, sign up for more.